Okay, what did I miss here from Dan Blackroy? Dan Blackroy said, speaking of, when it came out, I rented Metal Gear Solid for the first time. I played it on PlayStation 1. They didn't rent the case. They didn't rent the case with the discs, so I had to go back that night to look at the back of the case for the codec for frequency for Meryl. Yeah, that's right. That's right, because that was part of the thing in game, and I could have sworn there was still a way to get her to call you at some point, but yeah, that is like if you wanted that early, I think, communication with her, that was the way to do it. And then it says they didn't always rent the manual out either back when they actually that were actually important. Yeah, that was you didn't always. That it was kind of more early on that you got the manual for the game, and then it was called, is the manual even still there after a time? Because it was either people yanked it for themselves, or it just got, you know, they were paper. They were just kind of put together with staples and stuff like that. So over time the manuals would degrade and rip and everything like that, just from everybody flipping through them to read them and stuff like that, and to see whatever they had inside. So it was always that sort of thing, like the manual could be there, could not be there, and yeah, that could be a very determining factor. Dan Blackbird says the old game manuals used to be like gold. The Warcraft 1 and 2 were like mini books, dude. I remember looking into it. The Diablo 2 one also was like that as well, and I mean the artwork in those manuals were just phenomenal. That was the great thing about old game manuals and stuff like that when we got them back in the day. Was that some of them were just choice for great great artwork, great source material. I mean, that was how you got early like lore, and you know, instead of having to endure tutorials, a lot of the times you just read through the manual, got the gist of things, and then jumped right into the game, and away you went. Let's see here. I'm trying to let's see here. Let me try and I want to try and find the hang on. I'm trying to find at least the that's all video game. That's all console manuals. Let me just try and let's see. Okay, here we go. Leave it to the Internet Archive. I'm sorry, Timon. He says, I live in Brazil. It always sucks. I'm sorry, dude. Dan Blackbird says, same with Age of Empires 2. Blizzard before they sucked. Yeah. So let's, we got, I went for Warcraft 2 because this one is the one I always remember. At least for like gameplay wise. But yeah, the trouble, especially when it came to PC, was what you definitely needed a lot of this for. Troubleshooting, setup programs, hang on, sound card detection. And then this was it. This was your tutorial. This was how you found out what was happening for the game. You didn't have some forced tutorial in game. holding your hand. It was required. There was required reading, folks. There was required reading. Establishing your settlement. Construction of buildings. Mortar. Oh, I went too far. Oh, and then they even detail the map editor that you got to fiddle fart around with. Multiplayer setup screen. Tips and techniques. There you go. And then, Legends of the Land, Azeroth, Sir Anduin Lothar, Gul'dan, Sire Uther Lightbringer, Cho'Gall, Zul'jin. I mean, I love seeing the artwork, and then they even give you a map, places of mystery. Again, like I said, this was like the lore and stuff that you got. And like Dan Blackburn said, and then you get like a little novel inside here. All of the Alliance, their flags. Now here we got the ground units, the peasant, the footman, elven archers, paladin. I mean, these were great for the day. Yep, Dan Blackburn says these were like sacred texts and actual unit descriptions. That's right. Let me go back to that too. Well, look at that. Like, we got the mage spells here telling you about them. Like lightning, the mages of Lordarian have the ability to discharge lightning from their hands when entering into a melee. These swift bolts of energy strike their victims regardless of any armor they may wear. Being the simplest of nature's forces to command, lightning requires but a fraction of the caster's mana to employ. So yeah, the peasants are trained from the hard-working and stout-hearted citizens that live in the numerous kingdoms of Lordarian, or Lordaeron. By mining gold and harvesting lumber to meet the ever-increasing needs of the fighting force, which must push back the unrelenting horde. They are the backbone of the Alliance, trained not only in the construction and maintenance of the myriad buildings found in every community, but also those necessary to wage war. They take great pride in the invaluable service they provide. Roused by tales of the orcish atrocities in Azeroth, these peasants have learned to use both pick and axe for their own defense and if threatened. I mean, this is just, I mean, you get not only unit descriptions, but you get extra lore about the units, what their purpose is, what they mean to the world at large. And I mean, this is just taking such care. This was with it, and this is like it is. This is how you know new gaming was made by some legit nerds back in the day. Just this level of care and detail put into all. Now we've got the horde, we've got their flags, their units, the peon. The orcish horde peon. The label of peon denotes the lowest station amongst those in the orcish horde, inferior in all skills of import. These dogs are relegated to menial tasks such as harvesting lumber and mining gold. Their labor is also required for the construction and maintenance of buildings necessary to support the vast undertakings of the horde. Downtrodden, the orc peons slave thanklessly to please their overseers. I mean, there you go, just right there. That's even the descriptions between the peon and the Alliance equivalent. What was it? The peasant. The peon and the peasant, effectively like the same, but at the way it's treated in description and how like the Alliance sees their people, that gives you that understanding, that context, versus the Horde, the way they see even just the average orcish citizen, as it were. So, you know, that in of itself sets the dynamics between the two. Dan Blackbeard says, I read through all of this before I played first time, the entire history, and this all just one of the races. Yeah, I mean, this, and now we're on to the other one too, with the Horde here. I mean, at the end of the day, I think what was I saw at the end here, this is like 90 or so pages worth of detailed descriptions of all this stuff, and you even got the building descriptions, what they do in game, what their purpose is. Again, with their descriptions, they give lore, they give context to the world, they flesh out the world. And here we have also orc building dependencies. They show it off right here. And the Alliance, the aftermath of the Second War. So here we go. Some of the backstory on things. If you didn't, maybe missed out on Warcraft 1, here you have the story. The big players, again, a Draenor map. And here you go, the credits. So you had basically 90 pages of everything going on for the character, for the units. So okay, let's say 70 to 80 pages, because the first half was kind of tutorial and giving you the gist of everything, and then do they get into the units and that setup for all of that, which is just crazy. Well, I didn't expect to go into checking out manuals here, but hey, I'm digging this. Let's see, hang on. Here we go. Diablo 2. Just to kind of quickly go through this. Again, that Blizzard artwork was fantastic. Looks like I can slide over a little bit more. Let's try and get it to... No? You want to just do the... character attributes, all that jazz, multiplayer. The battle.net chat. Amazons there. Oh God, look at that. Paladins, sorceress, barbarians, necromancers. Ah, that's right, the druid came along with the expansions. All the skills and abilities. Dan Blackbeard says it's like the equivalent of bonus features on a DVD. Yeah, kind of, huh? But I mean, this was just what was almost the general like expectation of what you were gonna get out of a player manual. Then that was probably the funny thing. Like, then this was the sort of stuff that got started being put into the strategy guides and stuff like that. That's where they like moved a lot of that content over to, and that's when we started seeing the manuals really start to thin out more and more over time, and get it in. And it just it transferred to that, and then it was like, oh, buy your game digital and we'll give you like all the extra backstory stuff. It's like, oh, okay. And hello, Holiday Punch, saying, what's good, Scrubs? Oh, you know, just kind of getting things winded down, probably just a bit here as we go over. Started going into old Blizzard player manuals for Diablo 2 and Warcraft 2. Can't go wrong with that. Prima ruined it. Yeah, that was the company that did a lot of the strategy guides, right? What a shame. What a shame. We little did we know at the time what was being pushed in our direction. Kind of curious on, because I know I've looked at it before. But I mean, this was also some kind of, this was some, like, it was instruction manuals were very important for the day. Especially for the time, like it was for good old, the original Super Mario Bros. Instruction booklet. You know, you got your Nintendo seal of approval there. But this is where you also got some of the backstory on what was going on, because you didn't know. You just like, okay, I'm a plumber looking dude. I'm this guy Mario, and I'm running around jumping on turtles and weird looking monsters and whatnot. But yeah, here you go. Mario's friends. If you come across mushrooms who have been turned into, and this was kind of that interesting context. Mario's friends. If you come across mushrooms who have been turned into bricks or made invisible, they reward you by giving you a power boost. With each boost, Mario changes into different, more powerful Mario, as shown below. And you got the Mario magic mushroom or the fire. I wonder if it was in color before, and how to topple the turtle tribe. Beware, the following are deadly. Bump into members of the turtle tribe and other baddies. Walk into the flames. So it also gave you that little bit of extra lore digging. A mushroom who betrayed the Mushroom Kingdom. One stomp and he dies. 100 points. The little Goomba. Koopa Troopa. Soldier of the Turtle Empire. His orders are to find and destroy Mario. Jump on him and he stops moving for a while. See, now that's interesting. The little Goomba, it's been a long time since I've looked through this, but I forgot that it was a mushroom who betrayed the Mushroom Kingdom. So that's what the Goombas are. There are former mushroom people. The Hammer Brothers, the Lakitus, Piranha Plants, Cheep. Mushroom retainers, 7 mushrooms who originally served in the court of Princess Toadstool, but are now under the spell of the evil Koopa King. Bowser, King of the Koopa. The Sorcerer King. Wow, he's a sorcerer before. Now he's just kind of an idiot. Sorcerer King holding Princess Toadstool captive in the last castle. He comes at you spitting fire. There are several ways to kill him, but you only get points if you use fireballs. Question mark on the points, and a question mark on the Princess Toadstool, Princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. She's the only one to keep the only one who can break the spell of the evil Koopa King. And this is how they told the extra story content too. And then this was a big thing right here. The memos at the end of the instruction manuals. These were like, you want to talk about gold. These were like just so precious of an area, because this would be like where some people would write in either like cheat codes or extra little tidbits for you to know on how to get through certain areas or whatever. Like these could be like just some of the best spots of the manual. You'd sometimes flip back here just to see if anybody left cheat codes, or like in Mortal Kombat's case, like if anybody put down fatalities and stuff like that. Like that's where this was and that was probably like, even though we weren't spending time in the arcades anymore, this was another kind of like social aspect to gaming back in the day. And you know, it was just the fun of it. It was just kind of the cool thing. If you're, it's mainly for if you're renting games, would you find that sort of stuff? But it was there for you too to put in your own little, you know, maybe your own little stuff to remember later, sort of thing. Anyway. Weasel says they used to come with poster. Damn, I feel, yeah, some games would come with posters, and some of the strategy guides would too. I wish God, I wish I kept better care of everything back then. If only I had known. If only I had known. Not even for like a aspect of monetary sort of thing for selling off or whatever, but just like, just to have kept and held on to that sort of stuff, you know? Because, you know, you're not going to be able to find the stuff anymore. Dan Blackred says, Metal Gear Solid 2, the manual was an actual guide on how to play the game in a visual way, like a comic book. Let's see here. I think I still have the... I'll have to look. Oh yeah, okay, hang on. Yeah. I mean, God bless the internet for stuff like that, for keeping stuff like this. So yeah, here we go. You got basically the beginning of the first section of the game here. Kept you waiting, huh? And so yeah, here you got showing off how the radar display works, how you can sneak away, how you can press and hold the face and flatten against the wall, how you could kind of peek around corners, how to equip things. Johnny. Oh, because of how he fell in that position. The alert mode. Why do I not remember this? The caution. Oh, this is when it was on Xbox. Was it? I only remember on. See now, okay, now let me try and hang on. Snake eater. Yep, you're right, Dan Blackred, because he says I think they did the same with Metal Gear Solid 3 too. Here we go. Yeah, okay, this I do remember this. I gotta give Kojima credit. He did have interesting ways of doing some things. Can use poisonous snakes to scare the enemy. Running around or fighting will drain your stamina gauge faster. Keep your conditioned mind. Understood. CQC. God. And then, of course, the injury stuff. That was the cool thing with Metal Gear Solid 3 was the, like, little medical stuff that you could do to yourself. Delicious. Oh, that's just fantastic. I love that. Timon, Goombas are sentient cocks. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Weasel says when they sent the manual with the game, if you rented it, it was always funny to write a chick's name and your buddy's phone number. Nice. Dan Blackbird says, I think Metal Gear Solid 2 even came with a bonus disc of making of docs. You might, you know what? Later I will dig through it because I'm pretty sure I still have the Metal Gear Solid 2 game, the original, and so I'll have to double check on that because I think you're right. I do think you're right. So I'll have to check that for sure. I'm trying to remember. I was like, I got it mixed up though. I believe Zone of the Enders came with the demo disc for Metal Gear Solid 2 because I was like, wait, did one of them came with like a demo disc of the other? And I think that was it. It was Zone of the Enders came with a demo disc of Metal Gear Solid 2, and that was where like the old particle blood effects and stuff were still in the game, unlike they got rid of it later in the main game. Maybe it was like for stability issues or something like that. But well, that was a fun little tangent that I was not expecting to get into today. Oh, game manuals, man. What a time. What a time. So some of those were just insanely cool. And God, it could be great just to get even some of the, and even like the old big boxes for PC games were cool too. Just even from the artwork and just the stuff that was, well, part of it, just the way it sat on your shelf and everything. My God. Like I said, if I only had the mindset to keep everything much more pristine and much more together than I did as a kid. But Dan Blackbird, the world was better then, and we were a proper society once upon a time.
Thank you for watching this clip from Respawn Roast Cantina. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see, and check out the full episode.